Why are we wearing the same shirt?
I don't know. At least I don't wear the same style pants.
Whatever.
Well, okay, before we get actually started with the real thing, which is why you're probably watching this, I'm finally done with high school! Yay!
And my birthday's in 2 days from now.
Which, sadly, my prom is on, and you're gonna get...
Yes. His prom is on my birthday, and that's gonna overshadow my birthday because it's prom, and...
Aw, poor you. It's not my fault. I didn't schedule the thing. My school did. Blame my school. Alright, well, since we got done...
Okay, enough of that. Now, why you're all here, because... Well, we're gonna just go through every episode from the Season 1 premiere all the way through Flight to the Finish.
Before Season 5 hits, which we'll probably do real easily, or not.
We likely will. If we... Alright, our plan is to try to do 2 episodes together. Like we try to group 2 episodes together, and obviously the 2-parters will just be their own separate videos.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we're gonna do the Season 1 premiere, which is the first 2-parter, and then we're gonna do, like, Episode 3 and 4 together, 5 and 6 together, 7 and 8, yada yada. And
don't worry, we'll make some changes in case the ordering thing gets a little weird because of the whole...
Yeah, the ordering will get messed up by Magical Mystery Cure, which we have enough to talk about for that one. That can be its own. that can be its own thing. All right, stop. And then we'll have the Season 4 premiere as normal. That's gonna be its own video. Then we're gonna have Castlemania, Daring Don't, and Flight to the Finish all in one to wrap it up.
And maybe we'll throw in a Question Girls movie review, which we'll finally get around to doing. Like we said we did a long time ago, but we never...
Well, we're gonna get around to that once...
Rainbow Rocks.
Yeah, once Rainbow Rocks comes out, we're gonna watch the... we're gonna watch Equestria Girls 1 and 2, so that we have our opinions fresh in our head for that, and we're just gonna make 2 reviews of that. So
yeah, and since after that, there's gonna be plenty to talk about for each of them.
Yeah, after that, hopefully Season 5 will be about to come out by then.
By September?
I don't think it's gonna come out by September.
Nah,
not even close.
Nah.
Earliest, I would say November. Earliest, I would say.
And also in between, hopefully we'll get back to Let's Playing stuff. Like we still need to do SpongeBob for crying out loud.
We still need to finish up the bonus stuff for SpongeBob, like 100%ing the thing. We'll do that eventually.
Yeah. I got the free time. He still got.
I still need to finish up school.
Oh, you.
Yeah. But yeah. After SpongeBob, we're gonna move on to Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes, and then
we'll do something.
Maybe we're gonna do another thing after that. So it all depends. But after SpongeBob is the Dreamcast era, I would say.
Yeah. All right. Enough.
But enough of this, and more about the actual review, which you actually came for.
Which we'll probably have to put something with the other options.
No.
Yeah, who cares?
This stuff is important too.
Whatever. Alright. So, here we go, all the way from Season 4 finale to...
Season 1 premiere to Flight to the Finish, Tommy.
Yes.
We finished the Season 4 finale already.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. But that's beside the point.
It's weird coming back to the beginning now.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't really have much to talk about since, other reviews have been done before.
So we're just going to give brief overviews.
Yeah.
Of what we feel about the episodes instead of...
Yeah.
Like typical episode...
Like you were just getting at, though, I feel like the show has come a really long way in a lot of things.
Heck, it's definitely changed.
Yeah. But one major thing is the animation.
Oh, definitely the animation.
The animation seems still kind of stiff-ish back in the season 1 premiere. Like if you go from the season 4 finale, which was like glorious with its animation,
Yes.
and going back to the season 1 premiere, which was the
first thing.
Yeah. There's a noticeable difference.
Yeah, even reduction of values, quality. They still look good. It's just
Yeah, it looks good, but nowhere near as professional as.
Well, if you've been working on the same thing for about 4 years, it's gonna get better.
Yeah. It's nowhere near the point where it is now, but it's still impressive just because it's Flash animation.
Yeah, and of course, another thing is, so what's really the point to go? You know, when you're trying to get a show, you think the first thing would be to watch the premiere, like the very first thing.
Yeah.
It is recommended. It is recommended,
well, it's mandatory, but the only reason it's mandatory anymore is just for, like, world building sake.
Yeah.
Like, if you're trying to get into the show, you obviously have to watch the premiere, like where it all began.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's pretty much mandatory.
Well, yeah. And when do you think? But I don't think it should be like the very first thing you watch.
It should not be the very first thing that you watch,
because it doesn't give you a first good impression.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't make a good first impression. I say, but that's not to say it's bad, but it's mostly just you go back to it for nostalgia's sake. I say.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What do you think would be a better idea to like skim through the show, watch an episode from later parts of season 1 and maybe season 2?
I would probably say. Well, I'm going to get into this once we get to the episode, but Read It and Weep is probably the best one to jump in on.
Yeah, that would be a good one to start off with.
Well, we're not going to go too deep into it now, but...
Yeah.
I have my reasons for that. But anyway, yeah, so other things that have changed since then.
Voice acting?
Yes. Tabitha St. Germain still does her voice relatively the same, if not more exaggerated lately. Like, there's been a lot of times where she's stretched her voice to pretty much the limits.
And how she hasn't lost it yet.
Twilight Sparkle, Tara Strong still sounds relatively the same as Twilight Sparkle. Nothing really that major change.
I don't know, probably more like, but there's probably more zeal and emotion in later on.
Well,
yeah, whatever.
I think she still sounds relatively the same.
Yeah, well, and Lynn as Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy.
They sound pretty much the same. There's no real change in there.
Yeah.
But
Ashley Ball is the most
Ashley Ball. Not so much with Rainbow Dash, but Applejack. Applejack's voice used to basically be a Rainbow Dash with an accent. But now she's like...
She's finally got the real voice now.
Yeah, she's deepened Applejack's voice, and now it's like she's able to distinguish between Applejack and Rainbow Dash now. So
yeah, well, considering she hasn't been a voice actor out of the other, that's an achievement for herself.
Mm-hmm. And we obviously have like Kathy Weslock, who still sounds relatively the same. We have
Nicole Oliver Celestia.
Yeah, Nicole Oliver still sounds relatively the same. If not a little softer nowadays. I mean, not nowadays, but back then she sounded a little softer.
Yeah.
And well, Those are really the only major voices at that point.
Yeah, because we still haven't met the CMC yet. Of course, the CMC obviously changed.
Yes. We're getting to that though.
Yeah, but they hardly even show. They just show for a brief moment.
Yeah.
Why? Convenient foreshadowing.
I bet it is foreshadowing. But what else to talk about?
Oh yeah, speaking of like a production values, also another thing I was witnessing on watching the episode. Notice how like the background ponies like how they're always going about doing stuff.
They're mostly.
They seem very lifeless and static most of the time, actually.
Yeah. Like nowadays, they always have the background ponies doing things in the background. But,
and also, they're all a little more diverse in design.
Mm-hmm. But back in season 1, they just had clones of clones of clones that stood there and did nothing. Except for that one.
That one pony that we turned into a thing.
Yes. The one pony who went cross-eyed for one scene, and that was it.
It was originally a joke from one of the animators. Became a legend.
Yes.
We're talking about Lara here!
Yeah, remember when she was jumping happily in the background?
And waving. So where did humans come from?
Sitting on the bench. Wait, no, that does not that episode.
So now we're talking about Derby for crying out loud.
Of course we are.
Yeah, if it wasn't obvious enough.
Yeah. So, but other than that, it's kind of hard to talk about the actual episode now because
people have gone over it so much and it's pretty old now.
Yeah. You know the whole plot. Twilight Sparkle
doesn't have friends.
It doesn't have friends. Is sent
Nightmare Moon's about to come back.
Yeah, and Twilight Sparkle sent to Ponyville to make friends, and then
stuff happens.
She meets the rest of the main six, and
they go to Everfree Forest, Primary Castle,
and then they realize what their special elements are, and then they go fight Nightmare Moon, and then the story is happy end. Celestia and Luna are reunited. The end.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Oh yeah, speaking of Luna, okay, I'll have to admit,
her season 1 design.
I'll be honest. I actually don't like Luna's season 1 design. It's not because I'm more used to this second the redesign. I think the redesign suits her more. Because do you think that season 1 Luna design seems rather unimpressive to look at?
Well, it kind of is, but there's been some theories that it's like she got all the power knocked out of her when Nightmare Moon was released from her, or she was released from Nightmare Moon rather. Whatever it is.
Or maybe we should just treat the design as just can't just go with the whole new look because honestly
the design is kind of unappealing, but I feel like I like the theory that it's a result of her being weakened after the whole Nightmare Moon thing.
I don't care. Also, but one thing I do still wonder is...
I mean, it's...
What's up with the whole, Celestia in the past apparently had pink hair, even though...
Where does that come from?
From that... We assume that, there's from the books that, depicted, Celestia and Luna. Also, they were the same height, even though they clearly are. And, even later episodes, we've shown they haven't changed that much at all. And the animator's laser... It has our fanning gotten out of control, and they're just saying, no, this wasn't a thing. I still don't get that. However, maybe they should do something like that make Celestia's mane go pink for some random reason for laughs.
That'd be interesting. But
and then Shane's turning pink or the dry
pink Celestia.
Oh yeah, and of course Nightmare Moon. Let's talk about her though.
Yeah, let's talk about Nightmare Moon.
It's hard, really.
And now that we want to talk about her, we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you just know how Nightmare Moon is. She's the typical villain. It's
wants to make night everlasting.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with her. It's just she's so basic.
Yeah, probably
the most basic villain.
Well, then again, she's the earliest of the bunch.
She's the first villain, so it's excusable, but she's still pretty basic as far as villains go.
Well, she might not be the best villain, but the only reason why she still has significance is because she's Luna's alter ego, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Well, some people say they're still separate entities, but I still think they're the same.
Heck if I know. So yeah. Everyone is in character because
we were just meeting them.
So technically they cannot go out of character because they're being established.
Yeah. Out of character.
Yeah, Fluttershy went out of character because she spoke up. Whatever. I can't really think of much to say anymore.
You see what we're getting here? It's not that the premiere sucks, it's just it's hard to look back on now. Like we've seen better now.
Well,
I'm not gonna harp on it.
There's nothing wrong with the premiere. It's still funny even today. Like there's still moments that you just have to laugh at, but there's other moments which you end up laughing at for the wrong reason.
And there's also the moments where it actually feels kind of groan-inducing.
No.
Maybe it wasn't groan-inducing back then, but kind of is now.
No, I don't think there's any groan-inducing moments. Nothing is that bad.
Yeah.
Even
there's still some corny bits though, especially Pinkie Pie's Kick Off the Ghosty song.
It's okay.
I find it really corny. And
I find it okay, at least. Most of Pinkie Pie's songs early on, though, I find especially corny.
Yeah, because she's just spouting nonsense left and right.
Yeah, especially once we get to, like, season 2. Other than the Smile song, most of her songs then are just corny.
Wait, when's the first actual song of the show? Like, first proper song instead of just one of Pinkie Pie's quick musical gags?
Winter Wrap Up.
Yeah.
Which we will get to eventually, but not now.
Oh, jeez, Winter Wrap Up.
we must not talk about that around our mom because she will sing it. Whatever.
Oh yeah, and this is the first time we see the rail cars be useless. Understandable? Because they're fighting against a threat they weren't prepared for. And she pretty much OPs them. Also, there's dudes! Dudes everywhere.
Are we just thinking of something to talk about at this point?
Yeah.
We're talking about all the tiny little details that we saw in the episode.
Actually, come on.
While we're doing that though, in the opening thing with the storybook, Celestia's magic is referred to as unicorn magic.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah, there's also the whole thing, like, we couldn't tell, like, why the heck they're a unicorn, why they have wings, or are they Pegasus with unicorn horns? Then they decide, with this band turned Alcorn, which just meant unicorn, and they're like, yeah, we're not sure that's an actual thing.
Pick a corn.
You're not peg. No. But then finally the show decided, now let's go with Alicorn, because convenient.
Well, whatever. We're just stalling at this point.
Yeah, actually, hold on. I do want to make one good comparison, though, like, about the significance of the premiere. It's kind of like how people would look on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs compared to Disney. How it was like the first thing, it was the start of a whole new thing. Mm-hmm. It seems somewhat dated. It's kind of the same effect with the season 1 premiere and
I guess so.
But it's not really fair to be too critical about it because
it's the first episode. Everything everything it does wrong is excusable. It's the first episode.
This is back when the show was like a little bit more.
Back when it was getting on its feet.
Yeah,
It wasn't even getting a following at this time.
It was just when season 2 starts. It's basically when the show decides to like loosen up.
Yeah.
That's when like the real following came in.
It was still at that point where it was more on the girly side, I would say. That the whole first season.
Mm.
And then
unlike the typical lame girly show effect, it did know what it was doing.
Yeah. Well, now that we have that out of the way, we can move on to
more interesting stuff.
Yes.
I guess.
Episodes that we can actually talk about. So, next up is Ticketmaster and Applebuck season.
Yes. The first friendship lesson. Applejack's only proper key. Episode.
Stupid season 4 programming.
Your mind is ruined by season 4.
But it was amazing.
Exactly. It was ruined by awesomeness. Okay. But... So... Yeah, that was... There was a premiere, and it was a thing.
And it begins at this point.
Okay. Whatever. Things happened. And